Have you ever wondered, is it really necessary to need to work or create something for others just to survive? Think about it. We appear in this world without ourselves requesting to. We didn't beg to be here. The biological parents made that choice. Therefore, there's essentially and truthfully no obligation/duty on us that we are born, and we should keep it in that open view. And of course, I am mentioning this because, right now, this is not the philosophy seen commonly in society. There are cultures that actually place responsibilities on children to persuade them to give back to their helpers. This is, indeed, contradicting to what birth and being brought into this world are. Not to mention this being a very exploitative ideology. It's unfortunate how many cultures are so stingy and burden-giving to their offsprings, to us humans, as if birth carries debt or a contract along with it. So as you know, it's insane to let this continue. How being here feels like a burden when clearly that's not the right way. As a result, I have been researching on a model to break this binding tradition and instead utilize something more open and true. People did come up with it before me. It's called UBI, the Universal Basic Income Model. My idea is very similar to what they conjured up with. You gotta give everyone alive a stable, fixed amount of income periodically without having to work for anything. Basically, as long as you're living, you'd get cash to live whether you are doing any work for anyone or not. It's not applicable as of now, but basically, first of all, we take all of the billionaires/ultra-rich people, wealth from their hands since they stole it anyways. It doesn't belong to them, adding them with the total amount of money from remaining citizens to then figure out the average sum of money one has in a nation. Another thing that will greatly aid this journey is for people to become mostly self-employed, no longer working for a big corporation, which is by nature unfair with how it's always designed, so the corporations benefit more. The good thing is that, in this system, money doesn't need to be printed out anymore, and inflation/deflation has no value since the wealth sum is constant and stay flowing within one's nation without being hoarded. By calculating the average sum, we can then calculate the income by perhaps dividing by 24 or 36, 2 or 3 years. This model doesn't disregard people who still want to work to earn more, like as sellers or scientists, because the money citizens get will then be spent on buying necessities or funding them. It's that, the catch is, the workers are applied a certain tax percentage if they reach a certain amount of wealth so it can then be redistributed to citizens, forming a solid closed loop. I have to say, this model seems to just make the concept of currency irrelevant if it works at its best capacity. But I think it's inevitable if automation completely takes over and no one really has to do labor anymore. At that point, currency might just ceases to exist. But, in the current moment, I guess this model is good enough, eh?